Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video and welcome to a long-awaited part 2 of episode 4 of BRAYTalks, the series which I talk about mainly non-sporting related topics, at times featuring games that I don't normally play. Again, as you can tell, yet again, it's my wonderful face again. Yet again. But yeah, I'll say part 2 because it's time, of course, for soap talk to talk soap with Soap Talk. So my apologies for not bringing out part 2 earlier. Just with the AFL and NRL season starting again, I was focusing more on that really. And I've got a lot of videos to catch up on with lots of different series and that. So if you're a fan of, like supercars and supercross and all that, you guys are going to have to wait for those. And then also this new series of the endurance wrap, where I'll wrap up all the endurance races and that sort of stuff. That's going to have to wait as well because I have to catch up on that too. And then also whole lot of other stuff as well. And I'm aiming for this week to bring back the primetime wrap and the Saturday review for 2024 back about 5 weeks into the season, but so I think you know what I mean by that. So that's why this part 2 episode 4 has been sort of delayed a bit, but I finally got some time where I can talk about that now. So this time around I want to talk about both Home and Away and Neighbours in this part two of episode 4. So I'm going to talk about, of course, the one thing I'm going to talk about on the Home and Away, on the H&A side of things, is obviously Justin and Leah's wedding. It's going to which at the time of recording this episode is going to be out tomorrow as well, and also tomorrow as well. I forgot to mention at the start of the video. Spoilers are spoiler alert for anybody. Of course, obviously, if you guys haven't. If you guys haven't heard of it, well, especially you guys over in the UK, especially for Home and Away episodes, because since they're about bloody 3 months behind us here in Australia, I recommend you clipping off this video right now, if you could. But if you don't, then just keep on watching this video and then complain about it afterwards. But anyways, so Justin and Leah's wedding, that's going to be I've been looking forward to this all year, all of this first half of 2024, and finally it's going to happen. It's going to happen this week. As I'm recording this, it's going to be happening tomorrow. So I'm going to be raring to go for that one as well. I'm also going to be talking about how long could this marriage for Leah last, because we all know, if you're a Home and Away fan or not, you know how what the history in terms of Leah and marriage is degree since she came to Summer Bay. About how long has she been in? I think 2000. So that's 24 years. So and it's been a lot of marriages and that. So yeah, we're talking about that. And also we're talking about Theo's drug issues that have been going on for the last few weeks. Is that going to be revealed? Which, spoiler alert, is the side of things. So yeah. And then in terms of Neighbours, it's basically all about Hasdevka. All about him. It's all about him, obviously. So we're talking about obviously this whole storyline to do with Has, with his hacking backstory and that, and also just today, early on this morning, the spoilers for early May for early May's episodes have been revealed. So, yeah, so then right now, as I said again, spoilers are ahead if on that front. But yeah, so let's talk about Justin and Leah's wedding. I mean, it's clearly going to be, for home and away wise, it's going to be the event of the year. I mean, unless something else happens, it's going to be the event of the year for home and away. I've already called it. Yeah, I've seen the promos, by the way, and they look great. They just look absolutely. It just the wedding itself just looks absolutely great. I just already cannot wait for tomorrow's episode. I just cannot wait for it. Yeah, because this wedding's been a long time coming. Obviously, yeah, a long time coming. Not just for Justin, but also for not only for Leah, sorry, but also for Justin as well. Obviously, you know, both of them, when they started out, to be honest, I remember watching it back in 2019 when they first got together, and looking at it now, it was sort of, you know, right to put these two characters as a couple. I mean, you have Justin, who's also who we all know Leah's reputation in terms of romantic relationships, but Justin, he had a sort of bad reputation in terms of relationships as well. I mean, she was with at first when he came to Summer Bay, I think it was with Phoebe at one stage, and then she left to basically. Then she left to go to a music career, I think in the States, I believe. So, and that's when, and that's when before that he actually proposed to her, and basically she chose her music career over Justin, which was looking back at it now, which was back then in 2016, late 2016, early 2017. That was a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, let's put it that way. No, actually, no, I think it was mid 2016, I believe it was. I can remember rightly. So yeah, yes, I've been watching Home and Away episodes for that long, let's put it that way. But yeah, so yeah, and then obviously, and then the next. Who was she? Oh yeah, Scarlett. I remember rightly. Yeah, and that was in 2017. I remember that was there was this will they, won't they, will they, won't they, will they, won't they situation. Eventually, they did. Eventually became will they, and basically they became a couple, but only for a short time, because that's when her husband came to Summer Bay. He wanted her back, and Justin said no, that's not gonna happen. And basically, instead, and you can tell already by the trend here that Scarlett chooses to be with her divorce. Or I think they were divorced. But he wanted her back. So basically, that was that. And then Willow came in. And Willow came in along with her, with her, let's just say, River Boy aligned buddies in Colby and Dean. Colby being a cop and then Dean still being a part of the River Boys, which he's not, which I don't think he's not anymore. Let's put it that way. Well, he still technically is, but he's kind of not, because obviously he's moved with Ziggy down to Queensland, obviously, to be closer to his son Jai. So yeah, and then and basically they were in basically an on and off relationship, pretty much, where they became a couple towards the end of 2017, and then they broke up, I think, in mid 2018, following Willow's money dramas, when she was she was addicted to betting and that, and losing money and that sort of stuff. And that's when Justin helped her, and I remember the episode of this very well when Justin invited Willow to stay over the Morgans for a little bit, and she's like, why are you doing this? And I remember this scene very well. She keeps on, why and he keeps on doing fair enough excuses, and finds blatant excuses. It's like, I want to help you get better, and she's like, and she's having none of it. She's like, why are you helping me? And then he basically just had enough and blurs out, I'm in love with you. And that's when basically the scene was planted that they got back together, and then which didn't last long, obviously, because it lasted until the finale. I remember 2018, one of the best episodes I've ever seen. Let's put it that way. They broke up then, and then along came Leah. And I think the backstory to this, I think they got together in the aftermath of when that whole shit situation began with when Brody cheated on Ziggy with Simone. I remember rightly because I remember I watched almost all episodes live on television in 2019. I can remember rightly. That was almost a complete mess of the Stonies were hating the Morgans, especially Justin for not telling them that his brother was actually cheating, basically Justin didn't tell Maggie or Ben that his brother was cheating on their daughter with somebody else. so they were pissed off, especially Ben. Ben was pissed off at every single opportunity at him. Let's put it that way. It's not telling her, and then that's when. And then, of course, I think that was when Leah was trying to cheer him up, basically. Yeah, and then, and that was when the seed was planted, and then basically they kissed in the freaking bloody, I think it was it the front yard or the backyard? Yeah, I think it was front yard. And then eventually, I remember the next scene very well. I remember when it cut to them in the place that all the magic happens, if you know what I mean. I was just like, for the next 20 seconds, I was like this. I was like that. It was like, oh my god, I couldn't. There was rumors about it on social media about these two potentially being set up as a couple, and these two characters being set up as a couple, but I was like, there's no way it could happen, and I need to see it to believe it, and I did. I was like, I believe it now. And originally it was going to be like a no strings attached kind of thing, kind of arrangement between these two. And then basically Justin had the idea of what turned this into a full-blown romantic relationship. And at first Leah was a bit hesitant about it because of her history and that. But eventually she came around, and basically they became a couple right there. One thing I remember about that whole thing, with the whole strings attached kind of thing, was when Raffi found out. I remember that clear as day. I still remember it to this day. It's freaking hilarious how she found out. She was like, oh, so how's from Ruse? And it's like, yeah. So was Rue there? And he was like, no. So then she was like, okay, so it was just you and Leah. And then basically he's trying to cover it up, and then basically, even though it was after when Raffi had that whole post-traumatic epilepsy style thing, she was still smart, and she still knew that, hang on, Justin and Leah are doing it. and she would say herself, you and Leah are doing it. And every single time I imagine that, I just piss myself laughing every single time. Because it was so freaking funny. It was so hilarious. But yeah. And then basically, and as I said, yeah, they basically became a couple after that. And let's just say this relationship had a few ups and downs, not just from the whole Vita Nova stuff recently. There was that whole Psycho Douglas thing when Leah just vanished without a trace for 3 months, and then basically randomly out of the blue, as I open up a Coke for a second, and then Justin just randomly found her in a wedding dress, by the way, just running away. And I remember she was scared for like 2 months. And from what I've learned from Home and Away, and every time I watch it, is that often a lot of times there's always one character that has a tough time with, losing someone or whoever it is. They go for a tough time for like 2 months or whatever like that. And then basically when they feel somewhat better, they move on to the next character. That's what I've learned. And obviously Leah, she was in a tough way pretty much all that time. But she got over that. Then she got over that, and then the Susie McAllister stuff happened. When the Susie McAllister stuff happened. I think this was it after, or was it before? I think it was after he had that tumor when Justin had that tumor in his back. Actually, no, I think it was before then, because that was in 2021 when Christian was there. So basically, all the cops, all was set up for Justin. It was clear that Justin was being set up, obviously, because apparently there was a phone that was Susie's that was put in Justin's car that he was driving, and how ironically the cops pulled him over, discovered the detectives that were trying to solve Susie McAllister's murder. And then basically, boom, they find the phone, they find that, Justin immediately says it's not mine, and they draw the conclusions, and they arrest him on the spot. Which later finds out that there was this Steve guy that was suborning, Leah for all the freaking bloody stuff, including Justin's arrest and that. Apparently, he was the one that killed her. He was the one that killed her. And when Leah tried to discover it, when Leah discovered it, he basically and then basically Steve got arrested. And there was even, and Leah was even, to the point where pretty much that briefcase of $20,000 of their savings, that was stolen by Susie, she was even considering keeping it, and Justin was saying, no, we need to take this to the cops. We need to take this to the cops, process it, and then they can bring it back to them. But Leah's like, no. This is our money. This is our 20 grand. This is our 10 grand. We can keep it. So yeah. And then obviously, and then if it didn't get any worse, it was Justin's drug addiction, which I thought Justin would have learned remember back in 2017, around the same time that Scarlett started coming to Summer Bay. Around that same time, Brody was doing drugs. Was doing drugs while he was in charge of Salt for a period. He was doing drugs yeah, so I thought Justin would have learnt there. Probably at that time, probably could have learnt by then. Unfortunately, he didn't, because he got hooked up on painkillers for his back. I remember rightly, because he had a tumor in his back and he had surgery on it, and then suddenly he had a painkiller and all that sort of stuff, and then that soon one came to two. And then basically he was getting, hooked up on that shit, and basically he's being addicted to it to a certain degree. And even at one point, it nearly broke their relationship. It just about nearly broke their relationship. Even to the point where Leah gave him the big ultimatum. Either give up the drugs, or I'm breaking up with you. Simple as that. Yeah, simple as that. If you don't give up the drugs, I'll give up the drugs. I will break up with you, and we're done. And luckily, he did. He eventually did. He ended up, giving up the drugs, and basically their relationship soon, was back on track, basically, for a lot of degree. And then all the stuff about Vita Nova came out, obviously. We'll not get into that, let's put it that way. So, you kind of get the feeling right now that they have had some ups and downs, not only apart before their relationship started, but even after their relationship started, there was some severe bumps in the road, let's put it that way, including the whole Vita Nova stuff. Let's put it that way. So, and that nearly just about this close to breaking them. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so yeah, and then obviously last week, which was on the 3rd of April. Let me bring the laptop closer here. All the photos from the wedding scenes were there. I mean, some most notable ones, the most notable returnees are going to be there. Of course, Tori's going to be there. VJ's going to return. Obviously. And of course, Justin's daughter Ava, who we haven't seen for, I think since when he had that when he was sentenced to community service for punching this guy that had Ava for a period. We haven't seen it, and we haven't seen it since. So I can't wait for that. And apparently, and what I liked about it was I don't know if it's in here. Yeah, that originally Alf was going to walk Leah down the aisle, but as it turned out, he eventually said, "I'm not going to walk you down the aisle," and I think she'll be like, "Why?" And then that's where VJ comes in and basically goes, basically it's because it's because of me, because I'm here. And she'll be like, "Hi, Mum," and that sort of stuff, and yeah, so originally VJ, and that, so yeah, and you kind of wonder why VJ was going, because the guy that plays played VJ back in 2017 or so in Matt Little. I'm trying to look here because he's one of the crew on the show. I think I might need to scroll down a sec. Here we go. Yeah, production assistant. That's the one. So Matt Little has been working on the show as an assistant, production assistant in the last. I don't know how long. It doesn't say how long he's been doing it for. Probably ever since he left the show as an actor in 2017. In 2017. Well, back then I think you still have about friggin' months It's the same. It's the same as Neighbours, pretty much. It's all the same with all soap shows around the world. They film months in advance. So I think he ended around about 2016, I think, or 2017, something like that. But yeah, so pretty much, and then basically, and we haven't seen VJ since when he departed with his daughter in Luke. Back in 2017. So I wonder who would be taking care of Luke? Maybe Ash, taking care of her, because I think he's down there too. So yeah. Excuse me. So yeah. So that just leads me to wonder as well, and then just look at it. Just looking at all these photos, like these photos. I'm looking at this here on the Back to the Bay website. These are just nice. I mean, James Stewart's looking nice in his tux. Is that a tux? I think that's a tux. Yeah, and then. And of course, Ida Nicodemu looks just absolutely stunning in her wedding dress. Absolutely stunning, let's put it that way. But yeah, and I just wonder if VJ is gonna say something to Justin, or he'll say something to Justin, and basically, yeah, because I'm trying to think. Did VJ and Justin have? Did they? I don't think they had some interactions back when VJ was still in the Bay back in 2016 and 2017. Back then. So I think it's the first time I think that James Stewart and Paul and Matt Little would be together in one scene. Pretty much. But yeah, not surprisingly, Theo's the best man. We'll talk about him in a bit. Let's put it that way. And also, I wonder what will be Leah's reaction when John is the one that does the ceremony. I wonder what her reaction's going to be. Let's put it that way. But yeah. So I just cannot wait, really. Then it cuts to all the others. All the others just watching on. They clap with the announcement of husband and wife. Tori delivering a speech is unfortunately, which of course Tori she lives in England now, obviously with Christian, and also the daughter Grace, obviously. But yeah, so this is gonna. So I said this is gonna be massive. This is gonna be massive. I said I just already cannot wait for Tuesday's episode. I just cannot flipping wait already for it. Let's put it that way. But yeah. So yeah. So talking about marriages with Leah, like, how long will this marriage last? It's going to be the question on everyone's mind post-wedding, and post the aftermath of the wedding. How long is this marriage going to last? Some people would, even my own mum, even my own parents, which I know are going to be watching this video. Hi guys. If you guys are watching this, by the way, because I know they're going to be watching this. They've always said, oh, Leah's this marriage is not going to last. When's Justin going to die? In my opinion, here, I think this might actually last. To be honest, because the reason being is because I think it might last for a lot longer than Leah's other previous marriages, because let's list through all the marriages. Let's put it that way. Which, by the way, they have to be at the freaking to be been wedded to count. The first one was Vinny. and I remember it rightly because I remember there's still visions been played of basically of them, you know, it was a combined Greek and Scottish type of wedding because Vinny had a bit of a Scottish background, and of course we all know Leah's Greek, obviously. So yeah, so I remember that that Vinny had this kilt, which was freaking funny, which was hilarious. I remember rightly, because obviously Scottish, obviously. But yeah, and I think they were together. When did they get married? I might maybe search this. Do a bit of research on this matter here. Let's go characters. Find Leah. Here we go. Let's go. I think they were together for a year, I think. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think how long were they together for. They probably would have been, you know, married. Probably would have been together for about a year before they got married. And then of course she got pregnant to VJ, obviously, and then which is short. Actually, I didn't notice until later that actually it's short for Vinny Jr. That's how the VJ thing happened. Just a fun fact there. And then that was when, of course, he got arrested and Vinny got put in jail for all that, and then basically faked his death while he was in witness protection, and then sometime later he actually did die. About 8 years after he originally faked his death in a lot of ways, and then afterwards he rebounded. I remember he was in a relationship with someone else before Dan, though. I might need to check that out. I think. Oh yeah, Jesse. That's the one, Jesse. She was in a relationship with him for a while, and then at the end of that all ended, and basically she moved on to Dan. They got married, and then eventually they got divorced. But I remember rightly, I think it was around about 2007. I think they got back together, I believe, but they didn't got married again. I think they got back. I think they got together. They got married. They got divorced. And then they went back together again, and then they broke up again, I think. And then that was until, obviously, his death off screen in 2008. And I still remember this day, when she was at home, when I remember it's clear as day. The first time I watched this was about 6 or 7 years ago. This image, it took me about 2 weeks to get out of my head for a thing, and it just it was stuck in my head. Was when she got the phone call saying that Dan died. She was in this trance for like a really long time. She was in this freaking straight freaking trance. You can just basically do this, and she wouldn't even freaking blink. And that was one of the crowning of Edith Nicodema's bloody time on Home and Away, was basically that. I mean, that sort of thing you can almost see it look real. That actually was, and I was like, far out. She's actually freaking like frozen. And then basically when the words VJ got mentioned, she snapped out of it and basically goes, oh, okay. And then basically Leah and Colleen were basically going, no. And then she screamed her freaking head off. Combined cried and screamed her head off. Let's put it that way. And yeah, it was. And basically, I remember watching. Even because I still even sometimes now just go back sometimes to watch, and even sometimes on YouTube, because it's also on YouTube as well. Some old episodes back from the 2000s, just for nostalgic reasons, really. So yeah, and even later as such as 2015 or 2016 scenes from now on YouTube. Yeah, just for nostalgic reasons, really. Yeah, and then her third marriage, she was in numerous relationships, which really didn't go anywhere, from that period, really. After Dan's death, then and then about, was it 2014? I think 2015. She got married to Zach. She got married. I remember rightly. She got married to Zach. So yeah, and this ended in a different way than the previous two marriages, because it ended in divorce. It ended pretty much in divorce. But I think the only marriage that lasted that didn't have anyone dying, pretty much. My mum says to me, "Oh, didn't Zach die? Did Zach die?" And I said, "Not that I can remember." Let's put it that way. But yeah, so yeah. So yeah, it was that really, and then basically it ended in pretty much, of course, with Zach cheating on her with, and it was not a, I can't remember explaining it. It was not a big deal, but at the same time it was, in a way. Let's put it that way, if you know what I mean. Then basically it was all ended when pretty much, when Zach agreed to go with Evie and Matt to Vietnam, I think. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Vietnam, I think. But yeah, so that was that marriage there, and I remember. I think with Vinny, she was together. She was with him for about 6 months to 12 months before they got married. I think Dan for a good. I think a good estimate. Maybe I think a good 6 months. I think that also Zach as well. Same amount of period. Same amount of years. Same amount of time, really. Then now the two. With Justin, however, it's almost like she obviously, because obviously Ada's obviously been on the show incredibly for 24 years. She's been on the show, which is incredible. Not like Ray Ma, where he's been on the show for every single year since it started back in 1988, but still, 24 years. Well, next year 25 years. It's gonna be. That's incredible, really, for how much time you spend on one show, really, because most people only spend, well, even now, I've noticed on Home and Away, people have roles on there for like 6 months, for be on the show for like, in terms of airing wise, for about 4 months, and they just piss off. So yeah, for 25 years, it's actually quite a good thing. So yeah, but back on the Leah sort of thing. So I think for me, because they've been together, I think 2019, so 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 5 years before before they're getting married this week. So, or about 4 to 5 years. On average, with previous marriages, it's either 6 to 12 months before he gets married. Which is sort of, obviously, because obviously, and of course, obviously with the likes with Leah, of course, the likes with Vinny and Dan, obviously she was still, pretty new to Summer Bay. So yeah, and then basically with Zach, she obviously thought with third time lucky, with third time being the charm, obviously it didn't. And then yeah, so that's why I think I think that will last, because obviously she'd been waiting so, because she often thought that there's no chance I'm going to get married again, and it's only going to be the chance. And how ironically that with the whole it was all the Vina Nova stuff that brought it to a head for her, and basically, yeah, and wasn't, I'm trying to remember. I know Zach proposed to her. I know, right? But I can't remember Dan or Vinny. I think Vinny proposed. I think the other three proposed to her. With this one with Justin, it was the opposite. She proposed to him while he was dying. So it led me thinking, maybe this is different. Maybe always different. Of course, we've waited so long for vindication of basically is it the big enough risk to basically marry Justin, and then also the fact that she proposed to him is basically knowing that basically things might change here, and finally and hopefully Leah finally gets a happily ever after. Finally, after all the freaking shit she's been through over the last 24 years in terms of romantic relationships, finally, she might basically get a happily ever after. And apparently, the wedding goes off without a hitch, which is very rare for a wedding at Summer Bay. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so the next one I want to talk. So the last topic I want to talk about before I move on to Neighbours, real quick, is all the dramas surrounding the whole, surrounding the whole Theo drug issues. Of course, the same drugs that were, introduced, which Valerie introduced into. Because I'm reading the Australian spoilers now for this week. I don't know why, but it just seems weird how Valerie's not mentioned in here. I would presume over the next couple of days, the spoilers for next week will get announced over the next couple of days, so we'll figure out that. But yeah, so apparently, and apparently also according as well with the wedding, apparently Justin confronts Theo. Wednesday they clash, and then apparently on this Thursday, Theo takes his friends down with him, which I would presume would have to be Lyric. Something to do with Lyric, obviously. With Kirby, sorry, with Aiden, Remy, and especially Kirby. I mean, yeah, and yeah, which she's highlighted this over and over and over again, and I'm good on her by basically, for basically telling Justin what has happened, yeah, and I would presume that Theo will hear about that, will basically find out that Kirby had told Justin. And I would presume he'll be furious. He won't take it well. Let's put it that way. That a bandmate / an ex had told basically his uncle. Basically now his uncle on his wedding day. Which will be revealed on his wedding day. That obviously he's been taking drugs, which is not good in a lot of ways. But yeah, so I get the feeling that this drug issues this week will most likely will come to a head, and I would presume I presume this will be revealed. Obviously, that Leah. I think Leah won't be happy with the fact that Theo's been doing drugs, and not happy with the fact that Valerie's been leading him down this path, And I believe a little bit with Justin, even though they've just started their marriage, a little bit mad with him over keeping this from her. Because of all this stuff. So yeah. Which, to be honest, if I was Leah and I found out that my nephew had been taking drugs behind me back, and her new husband had basically kept this from her, I would not be happy as well. I would not be happy. Let's put it that way. That's yeah. But I just, to round it up, I think there's definitely that Vito's drug issues and drug problems, I would presume, will come to a head this week, I think. And what a bad time to do it as well for Justin and Leah's wedding. What a bad time for it to be revealed. So yeah. Moving on to Neighbours. Or as I like to call it, the Has Devka segment, because it's basically going to be about Has Devka for the next freaking God knows how many minutes. So there's more on this matter here. So and all of this, and basically all of this started with Has when Harold's got trashed. I remember rightly. I remember Harold's got trashed, and I remember Mac storming in, and she was in freaking shock over this, and basically, and then I remember there was her, Holly, Cara, Remy, Jane, Nicolette, and Aaron were all involved in rebuilding Harold's, which basically left him, overwhelmed with the support from all the people in Ramsay Street, pretty much, and that sort of stuff, and yeah, so it was pretty great, really, on that sort of front, to be honest. But yeah, and then later later on that episode, he got this video and this message of, "I know who you really are." He clicked on the video, and it was revealed that that for some reason he was the one that trashed Harold's. Apparently, he was the reason, and I was like, "That's strange as well." So it led me. And it led all us Neighbours fans in this whirly head spin. That was a lot of theories around. There was a lot of theories going around about what's going on here. And let's just say it's getting worse. It's basically gotten a bit downhill with it, obviously. When I basically, and then basically it was revealed that he had bugged Mac and Byron's phones, at least in their conversations. I remember saying, "This is next level paranoia. This is next level paranoia." I've seen Has paranoid before. But I've never seen him go to this level. I've never seen him there. And don't worry, it gets worse. Because it happened today, in today's episode. That it got worse. That it basically got worse. I mean, yeah. So obviously, because obviously, and it sent, and of course, he already targeted, obviously, Mac and Byron, obviously, with all the bugging stuff and that. This time it was Holly's turn to get freaking targeted. It was her turn. Now, obviously, the story was that she had, gotten a goal basically with her savings goals pretty much of getting 20 grand in her account, and she wanted to get a car, obviously, not surprisingly, and freaking roped in freaking Byron to do it, let's put it that way. But yeah. And and I watched about half of this episode because I was on my way home from work, so I missed about friggin' the first 4 or 5 minutes of it. But basically, of course, Haz again's listening on their conversations, obviously, because Byron's phone is bugged, obviously, by Haz's malware software, let's put it that way, and listens in on it. Fortunately for him, unfortunately for them. And then as, you know, and even, you know, Melanie's not, and one thing that's come to mind is shit that Melanie's noticed, Max noticed, Byron's noticed of how on edge Haz is ever since Harold's got trashed. They've all been that. Actually, no. Let me rewind it back a bit. Because obviously, Haz was shown, you know, Holly's car she's looking to get. And he said the point in detail of it, which left Holly going, "Hang on, how do you freaking know that? I haven't revealed this to you yet." And then he's like, he's basically walked back into the freaking kitchen, which obviously she obviously asked him, "Oh, what's been going on with Haz?" And it's like, "Oh," and everyone's like, "Oh, he's been really, you know, he's been really, you know, edgy and basically like yes, and all that." And then basically it ends up she goes in the kitchen. And while this is going on, and I also forgot to mention as well, he got a freaking message with another cruel message with his face as a skeleton, that sort of stuff. Just this tormentor trying to take the piss out of him in a USB stick as well, and took the piss out of him. And basically, I remember basically while he was doing orders, he had his laptop with him. And at the same time, he's messaging, and then as Holly walks in, he basically quickly goes, slams the freaking laptop shut as fast as probably, you know, I could drink a Coke, pretty much. And then pretty much, and he's and you could tell when straight away, Haz is on the defensive. He's already on the defensive. And basically, and at the end of the day, basically, she didn't say it to Holly, but basically told her to back off. That's all she said. That's all he said to her. It's back off. And well, as I said, he didn't say it. That's what he basically meant. Is basically back off. And then basically it's already on his notes a little bit. And then it was revealed later on that that 20 grand that was in her account to get that car, gone, disappeared, just randomly disappeared. And then it cuts to the last scene of the episode today, and it was Haz, and I was like, "You freaking idiot!" That's all I said was, "You freaking idiot!" Like, let's put it this way. I'm not a hacker, right? Of course, I'm not that sort of an expert in IT. I know a bit of IT, but not that much so I can be classified as a hacker in a way. If I was, I wouldn't hack anybody's bank account, let alone an ex-girlfriend. Or slash a friend slash ex-girlfriend. I wouldn't do something like that. And this is worse off, obviously. And this is right at the time where for both Haz and Holly, they've not back to be. They're at a stage where they're back to being, you know, previously before, where they're good friends again after the debacle that was their relationship and the chaos that was the love triangle between those two and Mac during December and during the Christmas period last December. They got to the stage where they become good friends again. Now this has happened, and now that's gone back to square one. Basically, back to square one, pretty much. And I can't wait till Holly finds out that has stolen her 20 grand. I can't wait for it. See stank on her ears. Her being absolutely fuming, furious, all the above. I just cannot wait for that, to be honest. And yeah, but yeah, and then of course eventually, like I thought that, to be honest, I thought originally that, you know, someone else rather than Mac would find out about Haz's dark past. I was wrong. I openly admit it. I was wrong because apparently, because I think in this week's episodes, in an episode later this week, Mac gets told from Haz himself about his dark past in IT. So yeah. So yeah, and nothing about that has been you know about what that past is. We don't know. That's what I thought. We don't know, pretty much. But yeah, and then next week, it gets intriguing when this Zach, when this Zach Wade guy comes to Erinsborough. And hang on, I'm gonna try and simply find it. Here we go. Who's played by Stephen Phillips, who, if you guys are a fan of Winners and Losers which was on back in the day, you would know him. You would know him as well, and also Neighbours fans as well, because I can't remember the character he played, but I think he was on Neighbours around the early mid 2000s. I remember rightly, but he's back on there. This time playing as Zach Wade. We still don't know much about him, to be honest. All we've mentioned is that basically he meets with Mac about Haz's past. But yeah, so yeah, which leads me onto. So obviously, it leads me on to the main episode. Now, before then, in the last episode, which was revealed of the previous releasing of spoilers and photos and that, one thing sprung to mind was the cruel ultimatum that Haz faces and the unthinkable that Haz is thinking of doing. I get the feeling here, the unthinkable, firstly the ultimatum, it's either this. One, he gets back into this shady path. He gets back to his shady past, or that video, that same video of him trashing Harold, is going to go all around Erinsborough to everybody. And when I mean everybody, I mean everybody. That's what I mean. I do mean everyone. So yeah. And then finally also this unthinkable. So number one, he goes to I think it's 3 reasons. One, he agrees to go back to basically his past and that sort of stuff. 2, he runs away from Erinsborough, which probably counts 1 and 2, probably counts both probably. And or 3, which is probably highly unlikely, he goes to the cops. He goes to Andrew and the other coppers and basically tells them the truth about what happened. Which, if that would happen, would he be arrested? Because he would basically admit to the whole. And And also, just to add to this intrigue as well, just before I press record on this video, I went on Facebook, and apparently, it's revealed that Haz is not not the is not the person that did those deep fakes on Jane and Aaron. Apparently, this whole thing, it's like, as I said, it's like a whirlwind. It's like a whirlwind of all these freaking theories just going around and round and round and round. Yeah, and I still, even with this whole him stealing Holly's 20 grand kind of thing, I've been over the last week or so since this got revealed on last week. I think it first got revealed. I've been on this situation of, yes, he's done it. No, he hasn't. He's been set up. Yes, he has set up, done it, set up, done it, set up, done it, set up. I've just always just ran around all over again. I've always had that. I still like, at this point, I'm sorry, I don't know if he or all these deep fakes and that sort of stuff has been set up or not. And yeah, so yeah. So now this leads on to the spoilers and photos which were released for early May, for the end of April to early May. So I've got my laptop here pulled in front of me so I can read this here. So if you just want to find the article on Back to the Bay yourself, just go and find it. It's easy to find, by the way. But I'll read you some of this here. So, Neighbours has released new teaser spoilers and photos, giving us our first look at stories coming up in late April and early May. It may be 1 week into April, but producers have already revealed what's in store from Monday, April 29, until Thursday, 9th of May 9. So here it is. In a dramatic fortnight, the Haz Devka storyline turns deadly. Chelsea gets more than what she bargains for with newcomer Jeffrey, and Toadie vows to do all he can to win Therese back. It's going to even the new improved Toadie is going to be unsuccessful with this one. Just give up basically. But yeah. So moving on. In the final week of April, Haz faces the music as his past catches up with him. This week's episode see Mackenzie figure out that Haz has had something to do with the wave of deep fakes and Holly's missing $20,000, and she confronts her boyfriend, forcing him to reveal all. and that's all about his past, really. And on that front, really. He confesses that he's been tormented by someone who knows about his shady past in IT, while Haz himself isn't behind the deep fakes and thefts. That's it. So that's how it all came about. So basically. So what's come to the conclusion is basically his tormentor. This is what I think. His tormentor, I think, has hacked the deep fakes into his laptop. So just to try and basically get him to get caught with it, basically, and that's why I basically got the Jane thing deleted, because obviously, yeah. And then it got deleted. I've always thought that if he had stealed Holly's 20 grand, he wouldn't give it back, because he tried to. Because it got revealed as well. He tried to give it back, which failed obviously because Mac and Holly herself caught him in the act. So if that were to happen, he wouldn't have done it otherwise. So it led me. That's why I always had this bit in my mind thinking, what if he didn't do this theft, this money theft of Holly's account? That's what got me in the situation where I was like, oh, did he do it? Did he not? Did he not? I don't know. But yeah. But as I said, I've been over and over on this, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. So yeah, so moving on. It seems his tormentor is targeting his inner circle, which is basically his friends in Byron, Mac, Holly, and it hasn't happened yet, but I presume at some point, Sadie at some point. So yeah, circle aiming to alienate Has from everyone he's grown close to since moving to Erinsborough. So yeah, so basically forcing him to basically not trust his friends and people that he's known since he moved to Erinsborough, and that's what's basically the main aim for those that is. So moving on. It leaves Mackenzie with more questions than answers, as she's unsure whether she can still trust her boyfriend. Over the next couple of weeks, Mackenzie even gets close to the truth as she meets up with Zach Wade and discovers the full extent of Has and his IT friend and his full extent of what Has and his IT friends got up to. That's what I was trying to say. Wade isn't necessarily being truthful with Mackenzie, but with Mac already doubting Has following his revelation, it seems the shifty new arrival has her right where he wants her. Oh, that's not good at all. Oh, here we go. The first photo, you can tell that basically it's here we go. So I'll read this first here. On Wednesday, the 24th of April, Has confronts a cruel ultimatum. I wonder, it's like I think it's the ultimatum. And while the following day, he is forced to consider the unthinkable, which I've already mentioned earlier, by the way. The story continues with the new spoilers as Has faces the music, which I presume every one of his friends and everyone around Erinsborough knows about his dark past. I would presume. Well, his friends probably know about it. Let's put it that way, because it's clearly in the photo I see here, Byron is confronting him. It says here, pictures show Byron confronting him in the number 32 kitchen as Holly and Mackenzie were gone, or watch on, I should say. So yeah. You could tell that Byron's really pissed off, let's put it that way, and so too is Has. And I wonder if that conversation will end in Has saying along the lines of, you can't imagine just how much I'm trying to protect you. Something along the lines like that. That he's been trying to do this to protect his friend. I think he's trying to do this sort of hacking stuff to protect his friends, not to target them in a way. He's trying to protect them in a way, but they don't see it that way. They see that as another way of basically his past coming out. So yeah, and and then basically, if I had friends if I had a dark past and that my friends knew about it and they were trying to protect them from it, from whatever threat it is, from my past, and then basically, and the friends won't believe it, I would be hurt too. And I think Has would be freaking hurt as well. That he would be hurt as well. That he doesn't believe him. That his friends doesn't believe in what he's saying, pretty much. But yeah. So yeah, how will the residents of the share house react when they find out that their housemate is the cause of their recent anguish? Things step up a gear as the weeks go by. Has appears to get roped into his old ways as a photo shows him and Wade in an office building in the city, sat opposite to each other while working away on their laptops. Has returned to his shady past? I judging by these photos, I have a feeling he does. Let's put it that way. I get the feeling I knew straight away that this Zach Wade guy was a bit shady. It was a bit, yeah, is a bit shifty. And it seemed like that these photos here really have made that true in a way. Let's put it that way. Yeah, what happens next? That's really shocking. Has is knocked down by a car, so he gets run over by a car. Photos show Has chasing Wade through a Melbourne laneway before a car comes out of nowhere and smashes into him. So yeah, it's strange here. I think they're trying to run away together. It looks like, because if he was running after him, he would go, "Come back here." But he's going like going on a leisurely jog. Looks like it. So it looks like that they're trying to run away, together, pretty much. And then basically, bang! That's when Has gets run over by the car, pretty much. But I get the feeling. Why have I got this feeling that the driver of the car, that him being run over, is a bit deliberate, where Zach got someone who's in the car to basically run him over, pretty much. Because Carl and Mackenzie soon rush to Haz's side to find him in a bad way, and he's taken to hospital. The scene that was shot in last November. So this was the scene. So I knew straight away when I heard, because this was from the scene where I remember back in January when I was holidaying over in Geelong. That got my attention on social media, that they were filming scenes in Melbourne. They were filming scenes in now it's revealed the place in South Melbourne, and apparently Alan Fletcher and Georgie Stone, who play as Carl and Mac, they were there in present. But I was wondering in my mind, I had this in a video a few months ago, I was wondering who else would be in that scene. I was wondering. I said Will Lloyd at third. I said Will Lloyd, who plays as Andrew Rodwell, because obviously Andrew's a cop. So obviously that's him. But I thought that basically maybe more. It was just basically the way that, because this was sent out on Instagram. This bystanding video, which was put out on Instagram. The only two people that were seen the only two actors that were seen were basically Alan Fletcher and Georgie Stone. Obviously, those were the two that basically were seen. But I thought to myself, what if there's more cast members in there? And it's true that Shiv Balga was there, obviously, as Has. So that just basically confirms it pretty much. So obviously it says here the scene was shot in November last year as the Neighbours cast and crew headed to Bank Place in South Melbourne to film the dramatic collision. A Neighbours fan account on Instagram uploaded the video from a bystander who reported that both a crash scene and a subsequent police chase were filmed. So I must presume, that. In the following episode, Mackenzie faces her greatest fear as she processes the fact that she may lose Haz just 3 years after losing Hendrix in the very same hospital. Will Haz pull through? There's a bit question marks over that. Let's put it that way. To other news now. Chelsea's Chelsea. Here we go. You tell, okay, pretty much. Chelsea's manipulative ways continue as we head into May, with no end in sight. No surprises there. Episodes airing this week see Chelsea seduce investigator Jeffrey Swan after he arrives to deliver his report into the locked sauna door, which eventually led to Krista's baby and Hope dying, which was very emotional. Let's put it that way. Let's not get into that. Jeffrey reveals to Chelsea that he knows she was to blame, but she buys his silence by offering to do anything for him. Oh no, that's not good. When you say anything, that's not good. One quick naked fumble later, that's no good. That's no good as well. And Chelsea's less satisfied as she's made the problem go away. But new photos reveal that Jeffrey is set to return. Well, it looks like one encounter wasn't enough to keep him quiet. And now Chelsea has her hands full trying to keep Jeffrey happy without jeopardizing her already shaky relationship with Paul. Not surprising in a way. On Monday, the 29th of April, Krista sees something she shouldn't. I'll presume that's something to do with Chelsea and Jeffrey. And with photos showing Chelsea and Jeffrey together in a Lassiter's hotel room, we're pretty sure we can guess what Krista stumbled across. I think we know what it is. Will she reveal all to Paul? Please. I'm just being please let it be the case, please. Elsewhere, Therese continues to be plagued by troubling dreams, prompting her to return to counsellor Dr. Rhonda de Robio. Interesting name. Dr. Rhonda previously provided Paul and Therese with marriage counselling, and also counselled Therese, Toadie, and Nell when Nell was struggling to adjust to her father's new relationship. Now that Therese and Toadie's relationship has broken down, will Dr. Rhonda be able to help? Highly doubt it. The start of May sees Toadie return to Erinsborough. Yay! Hooray! He's going to be returning. With Nell and Hugo, who knows? As he commits to do whatever it takes to win Therese back. Waste of time, Toad. Waste of time. The Toad is currently in Disney with Nell and Hugo, and returns to Ramsay Street with a fresh haircut and renewed vigor. Will it be enough? Probably not. Let's put it that way. While Therese and Toadie's future is being kept under wraps, let's just say that this photo from Thursday 9th of May's episode doesn't look positive. So it looks like that's permanently gonna break down. Let's put it that way. Also in late April, Aaron's whacked with guilt, with photos showing him, Nicolette, and Leo actually waiting at the hospital in Wednesday, 1st of May's episode. It looks like it's going to be a busy few weeks for the doctors and nurses of Erinsborough. Let's put it that way. Just who is hospitalised remains to be seen. That's pretty interesting, really. In the final episode of the new spoilers, the street deals with the aftershock of a surprise departure. Quite interesting, really. And we're just as in the dark about this as you. So the crew knows who this who this surprise departure will be. But all us, we don't. So that's probably another thing of theories right there. I'll get one, and I'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, here's one in a bit. Pictures from the episode show Krista at Erinsborough Hospital. That's right, another trip there. Yeah, she's already been there like 3 times. She's already been there like 3-4 times. One after she was found in the freaking house with Eden, which she was found by Haz and Holly. Then another one with the freaking after she confirmed she was pregnant after the rehab thing. Recently, last week, and with her losing her baby, and now this. So that's 4 or 5 times that she's been in Erinsborough Hospital. She just can't get enough of Erinsborough Hospital. Let's put it that way. Yeah, but this time around, she's on the other side of it. She's on the other side of the coin, not the main side of her being the one that's being treated. It's basically the opposite way this time. As she comforts an as yet unknown figure who's lying in bed. But whether this is related, we'll just have to wait and see. Elsewhere, Sadie and Byron embark on a covert operation. That's a bit strange there. While Melanie makes a life-changing decision. I get the feeling, I don't think it has something to do with Toadie. I get the feeling that she's thinking of moving out of the Kennedys. I think there might be a chance that she might maybe move out of the Kennedys. Just to, not because, because obviously Carl and Holly have been great ever since she's moved in there. And obviously Carl and Holly have been giving her advice about during the stuff with Toadie, or stuff between her and Toadie and Therese. And then obviously, so I think for me, in this case, I think this life-changing decision, I think this might have something to do with her moving out of the Kennedys and maybe getting her own place, probably, most likely. So, yeah. So let's run you through the synopsis real quick. So, Monday the 29th of April, Krista sees something she shouldn't. Therese is played by Troubling Dreams, and has faces the music. Tuesday the 30th of April, Leo confronts a personal crisis. Krista struggles with her simmering pain. I presume that has something to do with the loss of her baby. Remy and Cara push too hard. I would presume that has something to do with JJ, probably, this whole thing. And Sadie's in the wrong place at the wrong time. I wouldn't be surprised that something to do with their parents in Andrew and Wendy, probably, or something else, probably. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows on that front? Wednesday, the 1st of May. Chelsea finds herself in a tight spot. Aaron's whacked with guilt. Toadie commits to do whatever it takes. And that's it, pretty much, with that one. Thursday, the 2nd of May. Haz puts his safety on the line. And yeah, this Yeah. I get the. I think I've got this now. I think Zach Wade has his tormentor. I'm saying now, is his tormentor. Zach has his tormentor. It has to be. It just has to be. I just wanted to do that. So yeah, there's more photos. Here we go. And this one's quite interesting. This one's also quite interesting. It looks like Andrew. It leads me to think: is the unthinkable? Is it real? Could it be Haz telling the cops, or telling Andrew? It could be, because it looks like Haz is. From the photo I'm looking at here, it looks like Andrew. It maybe he's like saying maybe the people that are running behind him as well. If they were undercover cops, they wouldn't freaking dress like that. Let's put it that way. If you look it up on Back to the Bay, on the Back to the Bay website, you will know the photos. If anyone's seen the photos on it, it's all over Instagram, but all over social media, by the way. So you just find, if you find them, just find them. But yeah, but this one's pretty strange as well. So it leads me to think that maybe is going back to his old ways in undercover, and basically try to lure Zach Wade out. So basically, the cops to arrest him in a way. So yeah, moving on, and Therese finds comfort in the familiar, which surprisingly I think it might be Toadie, which is to be honest quite surprising. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing, but anyways, Aaron and Nicolette reach an agreement, which is quite surprising in a way. Let's put it that way. Monday, the 6th of May. Actually, I won't be surprised if Haz getting run over by the car actually is the last scene of that Thursday episode. Just as a bit of a cliffhanger for over that weekend. Monday, the 6th of May. Haz finds himself in dire jeopardy. Mackenzie faces her greatest fear, as I mentioned earlier. JJ makes a devastating discovery. And I get this feeling that I know what that devastating discovery is. That Remy told Felix not to have future contact with JJ again. And yes, that's what I think, in my opinion. And looking at this, and look at these photos here, it looks like to me that it probably was a bit of an undercover thing, probably combined between Haz and Andrew and the other cops, basically try and lure Zach Wade out. So basically, they know by now that yeah. So yeah, and it looks like the Varga Murphys will be playing some basketball. Let's put it that way. I love that. Let's put it that way. Tuesday, the 7th of May. 7th of May. JJ pushes back. Krista's confronted by a startling realization. That's the startling realization. I don't know. Let's put it that way. That way. Paul reassesses his plans for the future. So it has something to do with Chelsea, probably. Speaking of Chelsea, Wednesday, 8th of May. Chelsea's special day faces a setback. Toadie is urged to make peace. Sadie and Byron embark on a covert operation. That's quite interesting, really. To know really maybe those two stick their nose in, and it's nose into something that isn't. Let's put it that way. And finally, the first day and 9th of May, the street deals with the aftershock of a surprise departure. Melanie makes a life-changing decision, and Susan and Therese are challenged. I wonder why. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so yeah, and I get the feel. I think I know who's the guy that who's this person that there might be. I think it might be Has, because looking at the hair in this photo here, I'm not going to show you the photo obviously for reasons, but look at the hair. It looks like it could be Has. I think it looks like it might be Has, but anyways, so yeah, but anyways, so lastly, I want to talk about this, this this surprising departure. There might be I've got an early one. I've got an early theory on this, and deep down, everyone would get this. Mackenzie. Reason being, because this thing with Has, she's already went through with Has potentially losing his life. She already went through this with Hendrix. She already went through this. She doesn't want to. She in the back of her mind, she doesn't want to go through that again. Unfortunately, she's going to with Has. So maybe it's quite enough where maybe she goes like it's enough basically, and bang, she basically just walks out without any fanfares, walks out, just comes home, and basically, and I won't be surprised who does this while Has is freaking unconscious in hospital. Yeah, so yeah, so that's my early call, but that's my early call, but it might be someone else. It might be someone else that is completely, unrelated to all this. Might be unrelated to the whole Has situation. Let's put it that way. So yeah, and as I said, I think this life-changing decision that Melanie makes, I think it has to be, her buying her own place and moving out of the Kennedys. Let's put it that way. But yeah, and Susan and Therese, the challenge, I would presume, for different reasons. I think Therese with Toadie, and then this secret that Susan carries at the end of April. Let's put it that way, when she returns. So yeah, and the reason why I say that the person that Krista sits with is beside hospital with is Has, is because that photo because when it happens to Has, it happens on the Monday, and then underneath the photo, it's let me try and find it. No, I'm trying to find it. Bear with me here. Here it is. So I get the feeling that it might be Has. And which I won't be surprised, because they've actually gotten, became really close friends ever since Krista moved into the share house. So obviously, she would obviously be very emotional for one of her closest friends to basically potentially lose their life, obviously. But yeah, but it might be someone else. Probably might be someone else. Who knows for that? But yeah, so that's pretty much the end of this video. It's gone quite a lot longer than I thought, to be honest. But you know me, I'm a bit of a blabber, so yeah. So as I call this up, so yeah. So like this video, share this to anybody who's a Neighbours fan or a home and away fan. Comment down below what are you most excited for. Actually, no. Comment down below what are your, if you're a Neighbours fan, what is your main theory on this whole Devka storyline situation? I want to hear your theories about it. And lastly, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labeled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'll see you all later.